right now.
How do you start the recording on this?
We are officially recording.
Nice.
We are live.
Hello.
Rocking and rolling. Mitch, you can hear us. Hello, everybody. All of you that are joining us via blab.im, give us a shout out. There's the little hands on the bottom right-hand side. You got to love that. If there's content that we're sharing today that you love, that you enjoyed, that you're sweet, Ty. Nice to have you. If there's something that you're liking what we're talking about, make sure we give us a shout out so we can go back and pull some of that content out and share it. Just for those of you that don't know me or don't know my good friend Eva here, we had a conversation. We met in one of the communities online. Freaking rock star, absolute rock star. Couldn't be more excited to have her with us. I closed my Facebook account out so that I'm not getting distracted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that delay must.
We better close all of our. We better close all of our windows, otherwise we're going to get distracted. But today, my friend Eva is here with us. She's rocking it from Miami, Florida.
Hello.
Where are you at? Where are you at today?
I'm in Hollywood, actually. I'm like in my favorite coffee shop on Hollywood, Florida.
In Hollywood?
Yes.
I have a friend.
Look how nice it is outside. Nice and sunny.
You say that because you understand.
I am not lying. I come here way too much.
We have I've got a good friend that's on our Facebook live feed right now by the name of Denise, and I call her Hollywood. Hollywood.
This is it's a beautiful day down here.
Anyway. Okay, well, let's get rocking and rolling. We're going to talk all things content marketing today.
Yes.
I'm actually going to switch my Facebook live feed, turn it the other way here so you guys can see our conversation. Trying to get the reflection off of this.
Yeah,
but
come on.
It's going to work.
Do me some justice.
I'm going to back it up, yo. If you want to see us live, blab.im, or go to my Facebook profile. I just posted a link there. We'd love to have you come join us on Blab as well. So welcome, everybody, to our community. Welcome to our conversation. Today, we want to share with you some ideas we were talking about the other day about content marketing and the value of content marketing for your business and what it can do for your business. But Eva, do me a quick favor and give us some background, company you own, what you do, and what you do for clients. So
sure. So I've had my own business since 2013. So it's only been about 3 years. But I started a marketing consulting company, initially specializing with physicians, where I would help them, understand everything to do with online marketing and the online space in general. So, there's been a lot of changes in the industry, and there's a lot of ways in which they can capitalize these channels to either do patient acquisition or just kind of growing their brand. And a lot of them just kind of don't understand everything that's going on. So I came in seeing that need. And then most recently, I've just also branched out what I do to home-based business owners as well, because there's a lot, and it's a lot. People get confused by everything that's going on, and it's kind of like they immediately there's like an overwhelm that takes over, and they get paralyzed. So I like to kind of help them understand. So I started my blog to dissect all parts of content marketing and social media.
Okay, that's unbelievable, and it's a great lead and great segue into what we're going to talk about today, because I'm super intrigued by this concept of content marketing. And if I'm a little transparent and honest, I'm not great at it. I know that I need to do it. So we are going to talk about hopefully 7 tips. We might have like 20 or 30.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say.
Let's get to at least 7 tips.
Once I get going, there may be more.
That's right. And I'm going to take great notes here so we can throw them out into the world, into the social world. Awesome. But get us started. Tip number 1 when it comes to content marketing. Let's do this.
That's an easy one. Tip number 1 would be to just start. A lot of people just don't. They find every excuse in the book to not start because they get perfection paralysis. Like everything has to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And no, it doesn't have to be perfect. For my first business, I had a blog that was the crappiest looking blog you couldn't believe, like you wouldn't even believe it. But what matters is the quality of the content. So just get started. Even if you don't really understand how or what you want to talk about, just start broad. You can start really broad, and then as you develop and a better understanding, then you can actually start narrowing it down, because you can almost take one post and dissect it into sub posts, because within that one post there could be 10 other topics that you really couldn't touch on, because you have to keep it short so the readers can get through it, But that would be my first tip, is just start making up excuses, or don't think that you're going to be judged by others, because if you are, who cares? Don't wait for your logo to look perfect. Don't wait for you to have the right topic, or maybe even the right niche. You can start a blog about something and slowly move it away from where you started, in a very subtle way where your audience won't even know it happened. But if you're addressing your audience's needs, they won't notice, because you're actually answering their questions. So it's don't find that perfect time to get it done. It's just a matter of getting it done and start putting content out there.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple quick questions to follow up with. So let's say we have a brand new person that's watching this for the very first time. They're like, I don't even know what content marketing is. And you're saying, well, do something. How do you kind of dive into that? What if I said to you, listen, I don't even know where I'm going to start or what I'm going to say. What would be your advice to me? How would I find that first topic, that first blog post, that first thing? How do I go about finding that?
To me, where I would tell you to start would be start writing about not exactly your experiences, because you don't want to talk about you, but if you went through a certain period, or if you went through something that really caused you either stress, or you struggled with something, you struggled to understand content marketing. You have no idea what content marketing is, right? Write a blog about how you have no idea what content marketing is, and how you've been doing some research. Content blogging and videos and podcasts don't have to be Good Morning America or that kind of super produced thing. It should be organic, and the more organic your content is, the more your readers are going to relate to you, right? So if you don't know what content marketing is, you can literally start a blog saying, everybody's been telling me that I need to start a blog for my business. I have no idea where to start, but I've been doing some research. I read this book, and this is I feel this is where I should start. Just be true. Yeah. And your audience will be like, wow, Ryan, I feel your pain. I have no idea what to start either. This is really confusing, and you can kind of go through the journey with them, right? Yeah.
That's a great insight. Awesome insight. Okay, so listen, as part of this blab, for those of you that are on this, if you enjoyed what we're talking about, make sure you throw some love. There's these little hands on the bottom right corner. Yeah, whoop, whoop. Give some shout out. Whoop, whoop. And if you have any questions at all as well for during the context of this presentation, make sure you throw that in here so we can answer those throughout this process as well. Okay, so item number 1 is get started. Get started. Number 2, talk to me.
Number 2, hold on, because I wrote the ones that were the most important that I felt that I needed to get out. So
you even prepped for this thing. I love it.
I prepped in my car on the way to the coffee shop. No, well, because this is something that's I struggled with myself, right? So I do this. I try to write as often as possible. So one of my favorite things to do, and one of my favorite pieces of advice to give people is get controversial. Talk about something that it's not necessarily the popular vote or the popular choice or the popular decision, right? So if you're against, I wrote about Facebook's instant articles. That's one of the last blog posts I wrote about. I hate things. What I read about it, I didn't like it. What's the big deal? So I wrote about it. Don't think that you have to write about what you think the audience wants to hear. Don't, because people are not used in instant articles does not mean that you need to say how great it is. Really just be controversial about, your niche, be controversial about what your beliefs are within your business. So if you're working primarily with people, helping them have a healthier lifestyle, and you see that there's this new supplement going around and people are using it and it's so freaking popular, well, maybe you don't agree with it. Maybe you don't think it's the best supplement to use, and maybe you don't think, don't be afraid to be controversial and not be in the popular crowd when you're writing the blog, because it's going to happen. People are going to be like, what the hell? What do you mean that's not the best supplement? Let me read what this crazy chick is talking about. You want to get them to come to your page.
What's interesting though, because you bring that up, what's interesting is a vast majority of the people out there probably are not are in I mean, if it is a controversial issue in general, most people out there are probably in the majority and opposing what the context is. Because I mean, we know how media works, right? They just try to throw something out there to be controversial.
Yeah.
But we might be the ones saying, like, for instance, if there's a company, like you're saying, if there's a company that's going wild, like, you know what, it's really not that great of a product, and here's why.
Yeah.
And show but I think what you have to also be careful of when you're talking about content marketing is when you do make a controversial statement, make sure that you can back it up.
Exactly.
Don't just say,
or take the heat. Make sure you can take the heat.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you don't want to censor. You don't want to censor comments on your blog. You know, the more people are like, "Are you nuts?" Let those comments go on your blog, because you know what? At the end of the day, it's like they say, bad PR is still good PR. You know,
that's exactly right.
Bad attention is still good attention, especially when it comes to your content. So yeah, I agree. Definitely make sure that you make a good argument. Don't just say, "Oh, this sucks," and it's only because I think so. No, say that you've been doing some research, you've read, you've asked, you did, you know, a very small poll, and you asked 50 people, and this is what they thought about it. Don't just make a statement just to make a statement. But if you really, truly, honestly don't agree with what the 99% of the people are saying, say it. It's okay to be controversial or to not be popular. It's fine. That's what's going to get people to your blog. You almost want to incite, like, let me click and read the rest of this. What the heck is she talking about? And that's what's going to happen, right?
Well, and I think part of content marketing, maybe we can move into a transition to number 3 right here. And this might not be on your list, but number 3 as far as content marketing is you have to be really, really good at creating a brilliant title. Something that piques people's interest, that draws them in, right?
Yes, definitely. Your title will actually, if your title sucks, your post could be you could have spent days writing this out. And if your title sucks, you're not going to get anything. You're going to get crickets. Because if your title is like boring, they're not going to go and want to read more. You need to incite curiosity. You need to incite like an immediate, like, I want to see what this lady's talking about. I want to see what this guy wants, has to say about that. So the title is 90% just, the success of your blog post, whether people read it or not. And
so quick question for you. There's a question here on the sidebar. It says, is there a good resource that you found to get titles? Are there certain people that you like to follow that they're big time bloggers and you're like, oh, they're so good at their title position that you there
isn't one specific resource or one specific source. There's a bunch. Who is it that has a really good cheat sheet on it? I wrote a blog post about it, but I don't remember. There was a bunch of sources. Honestly, there's so many good. What is that one company that they do? Is it Kissmetrics? I think it's called Kissmetrics. There's another company, Outbrain, I believe. Neil Patel has a really cool cheat sheet out there for headlines. But there's they're pretty and there's a lot of just kind of like the standard operating procedure on creating really good headlines. And once you kind of get the hang of it, you'll be able to write headlines no problem. And one of them is to almost to make the title relatable to them. How can I lose 10 pounds before spring break is coming up, or that there's a big event. If you're doing targeted, you can say, how can I lose 10 pounds before Christmas, or how can I lose 10 pounds before a wedding, or whatever the case may be. If you're gearing it to your audience, there's a lot. Those 3 people that I mentioned are to me probably the most reliable one, though.
Okay, so Kissmetrics, Neil Patel, is that
Neil Patel, and I think it's Outbrain. Somebody did a study on the headlines that actually got the best reaction from readers. I want to say it's an Outbrain study.
Okay. Great. Okay, so let's dive right into number 4. Talk to me number 4.
Okay. I would say teach what you've learned. That's a really easy way to create content. And I learned this from Ray Higdon. That's something that I follow him in his blog and his content and his strategies religiously. And one of the things he teaches is teach what you just learned. He calls it I don't know, ILT, invest, learn, and teach. So invest, whether it's in a course or a book or whatever. Absorb what you just read and then teach it, because you really don't grasp something until you're able to actually either talk about it in front of a group or do this or write a post about it or write a blog about it. I mean, a podcast about it. So when you actually teach what you learn, you're making sure that it sticks, right? Because now you're teaching it. And that's a great, I make a habit of reading constantly. And that's something that would be a tip of mine is if you want to always have really good content, read constantly and read books, read magazines, subscribe to, newsletters in your industry, listen to what, for the home-based business owners and for the affiliate marketers, listen to what those top earners are doing in your industry and what are they talking about? Are they teaching new strategies that you've practiced, right? So, let's say that someone in your company has this strategy to generate leads for your business and you tried it, write a blog post about it, right? And write what your results are. So that to me, always teach what you're learning. That to me, if you have a bookshelf full of books and you haven't written a blog post or 2 or 3 or 4 about that book, each and every single book, then you're just wasting money. That's just a waste.
So let's take a quick step back, because what you've told me so far is, and we've really kind of discussed the concept of blogging. Yeah. Let's take a quick step back. What are the other types of content marketing that you utilize for your business?
I'm really shy. Like, I hate being in front of the camera, which I'm going to start doing a lot more often.
Facebook Live.
I hate the camera so much, but
here's what's happening.
But Periscope is great. I'm thinking about starting a podcast, because with podcasts you can actually really, really, really take your time in creating the content, and it could be as long or as short as you want. Video, Facebook Live is fantastic. The one thing about Facebook Live is I don't know if you can download your video and repurpose it. I haven't really. I know that you can share it in groups and stuff like that, but I don't believe that you can download that video. So
that's good. We'll find out.
Kind of be careful about putting all your eggs in one basket, just because if you are putting a lot of content, and let's just say that you're getting great reaction out of people and you have a lot of comments and questions and all that, and it's just a really good piece of content, because Facebook Live's appeal is that it's impromptu, right? It's almost like you're just talking. But if it turns out to be something that is super insightful, what do you want to do? You want to share it, put it on your blog, embed it on your website. I don't know if you can do that with Facebook. So I do know that you can do that with Periscope, upload it onto YouTube or Vimeo. So that's something that people may want to be careful before they, because I think that all the like this, for example, you'll be able to repurpose this how many times, don't invest so much of your content time that you give yourself for the week or the day or whatever to put it on something that you're not going to be able to get more than one purpose out of it. Yeah. So if you are going to do Periscope, what a lot of people are doing is they're doing live, Facebook Live and Periscope at the same time. Yeah. And I know that at least now you're getting recording, but you're also going live. Yeah. So that's something that you may want to think about.
Cool. So there's video content, there's text blog post content,
there's audio,
there's audio content with podcasts. There's what else? What other things? I mean, images, obviously, context. There.
I would say if you have something that you can talk about extensively, write an ebook about. And that's also a great lead capture. Yep. It's a great lead capture once you have that on your site. And what you could do, and that's not something that you need to do right away, but once you've been blogging for some time and there's a category that is just you've written a lot about one specific topic, you can turn that into an ebook and then consolidate it, and now you're repurposing your content. Yep. Again, it's all about repurposing so that you can get multiple uses out of it. Yep. Something else that you could do is if you write a blog post a year ago about, I don't know, today's your first Facebook Live, and you write a post about Facebook Live, and oh my God, it's awesome, and I loved it, and this is how it works, and this is how you do it, and blah, blah, blah. A year later, you're going to go back in and kind of update your audience on Facebook Live. I've learned these strategies, and this is one thing about Facebook Live that really doesn't work, and I've learned this and that. Because remember, your content should be organic. It should not be forced. It shouldn't be forced. The appeal to it is that it's not overly produced.
Yep. Great. Awesome. So number one is start somewhere. For those of you that just joined us on Facebook Live, nice to have you here. We're talking about 7 strategies or 7 key fundamental success factors for content marketing, the 7 secrets. And number one is start somewhere. Do something today. Take action today. Open up your Facebook on your phone and just push play on that little button that says live. It's going to scare the crap out of you, but just do it. Right? Yeah, right. Number two is get controversial in the content that you're sharing. Share something that's authentic and organic to you, but still put a little bit of edge to it, if you will.
Yeah.
Number three is create a great title. A title for your blog post, your podcast, whatever that might be. And the number four is teach what you have learned. Invest, learn, and teach.
That's Ray Higdon's method.
Ray Higdon. Ray Higdon's the man when it comes to creating.
He's freaking awesome. He's a machine.
Yeah, he teaches a lot teaches people a lot on how to become an authority in your space, and that's really what he does.
He does, and he's doing something right. So you got to listen to the people that are doing something right, right?
That's right. Success leaves clues, right? I mean, we can throw that as number 5. Success leaves clues. Follow those people that are doing what you want to do and just go follow them, right?
It's that easy. It's that easy.
Okay, so give us
done for you.
I won't add that as number 5, but give me number 5. Talk to me.
Well, I see that Mitch is asking a question about an ebook. Yeah. There's a good length.
Okay.
You don't want to get too lengthy on an ebook. I've seen ebooks of all sizes. I would suggest if you want it to be a really good again, an ebook should serve as a lead capture, right? So you don't want it to be to the point that people won't even read it. It's important for them to get through it and then have a call to action at the end of it, whether it's, download this free book or download this book, and that was going to cost them a little bit more, or buy my course or register for this webinar, or, and it should be an evergreen webinar because you don't know when they're going to download it.
Right.
I would keep it short. I would say no more than 20 pages. Personally, I don't think there's a rule on how long an ebook should be. They're of all lengths, Mitch. Yes, I agree. I personally wouldn't keep them too long, just because if I'm trying to deliver content to you and I want you to see the value that I bring, and I want you to see that I'm an expert in my niche or that I'm an authority in my niche, I actually want you to read my content. I'm not trying to just get you on my list. I'm actually trying to get you to read the content because I'm writing about something that's important.
And that might be, if I could add number 5 in there, is if you're going to do content, one of the key tips for creating killer content is actually having a structure afterwards, or a strategy for what you do with those people, right? Yeah. Because it's enough to create content, create a fantastic heading, but once you get them there, are you trying to capture their email? Or are you just trying to give them a good read?
Every blog post should end with a call to action.
And we didn't, one thing we didn't add that maybe we can add right now is, as far as content marketing is concerned, lead magnets are fantastic forms of content. Right? We didn't even mention that, but 1 or 2 pages of just great value that you learn.
A cheat
checklist, a roadmap,
and all those things that you're creating, all those downloads that you're creating can be call to actions. You understand? And try to, and this is what I'm trying to do more, is almost every piece of content that you create is almost like a landing page. I would even call it. It's every post that you write, and not every single post, because that's seriously, you shouldn't be write organically in a sense. But if there's something that you can create for that specific topic that can help your audience further, tie that into your blog. And at the end of the blog, there should always be a call to action. Always, always. Even if you just start out with just like join my mailing list, I don't care what it is. Always have a call to action. And then as your expertise, or as you develop a higher level of comfort, and you start either developing your own content or your own, downloads, or you work with an affiliate marketing company that you can leverage their free downloads, then you can add to it. But have something, and always and even train your audience to expect that, so that when you do start having that, they're not like, well, all of a sudden Ryan wants to sell me something. Listen, if people are against being sold, then what are you doing? You shouldn't be against being sold, because if you're in business, if you're in content, if you're writing a blog, I don't know about you, but in the long term, I love writing, but this is something that is a revenue generating venture as well. So if you're writing a blog and you're telling me that you're doing it because you want to just have a hobby, that's fantastic. But 95% of the people out there are not, or 99% of the people are not doing it for their health, right?
Well, what's interesting is because, I talked to you and I both, we've done some work in the dental space, we've done some work in the consulting space, and people are talking about, we know we need to push content out there. We know we need to push a blog. We need to do this, that, or the other. but then there is no call to action. So what's the point, right? If you're not going to lead them into a sales funnel and take those people through the sales funnel process, then what's the point, right? I mean, so I guess what we're saying is tip number 6 tip number 5 is always have a purpose or a structure behind what you're doing.
Yes.
Because
even if it's as simple as getting them onto your mailing list.
That's
Join my newsletter. It's just start out with that. It doesn't have to. Don't overthink it, because people start overthinking things and they're like, "Well, crap, what am I going to give them?" And just get them on your list. Just start.
Yeah.
You know. And,
so I have another question. I have another question that kind of goes hand in hand with that. What frequency? Talk about frequency of content creation. Is it a daily thing? Is it a weekly thing? Is it a monthly thing?
Honestly, I did a blitz where I blogged for almost 60 days straight. And I would recommend anybody do that and commit to doing it, at least for 30 days. Commit to doing a blitz of at least 30 days, because not only did I see almost an immediate change in the volume of traffic that my blog got, but I also developed my writing skills. I started to develop them more, because if you're just writing once a month and it's something that you revisit, and you think, well, it's been 29 days, I should probably sit down in front of my computer and start writing. It's not something that you're doing every day. And when you start writing content every single day, you're forcing yourself to think outside of the box when you're writing your content, which is something that you're going to need. I still struggle to write content today sometimes, where I draw like a blank, like what am I going to write about? But it's easier now, and that was another thing that happened. It just became so easy to write after I did this blitz. It became second nature. In the beginning, when I started my blog, it was like, oh shoot, it's been 3 weeks. I probably should put something out. Let me just do it. It wasn't something that I enjoyed. It was a chore. When you start to do it, at least do this once, and get it out. Almost like force yourself out of this, feeling that writing is a chore. It shouldn't be. You should enjoy writing. If you don't, then don't do a blog. Do a podcast. Do a blab. Do a Periscope. Do whatever the case may be. But put content out there consistently. Consistently.
I think you and I both follow the Meltons, John and Nadia Melton.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Yeah, and they do a brilliant job of putting some sort of content out in the world every single day.
Yep.
And it might just be a quote post. It might just be a quick 2-minute conversation. We're talking about, but the reality is, and I think they did that challenge once. They said 30 days, just do something for 30 days.
I did it for close to 60, but just commit to doing it every day. I know Ray fresh content out every single day. And I know that John Chow, which is another huge blogger, and he's just making tons and tons of money on blogging, also blogs every single day. But his blog has developed into this monster where he has actual contributors now too. But Ray puts out something fresh every single day. A lot of the top bloggers out there, again, follow the people that are doing it successfully. They're putting content out every single day.
Well, it was interesting. It's interesting you say that, because I was doing a presentation today for a group of people at a Toastmasters event. I don't know what that is, but it's a speaking event.
Yeah,
I was doing a presentation. It's fun. I love it.
Yeah. There's one in my neighborhood.
Have a great time. But when I was talking about that specifically, I was saying, what? One of the biggest problems that most companies run into today is they're so busy in the give it to me, take me, give me, give me, constantly give me your money, that they don't understand the one principle of the law of attraction.
Yes.
That if you put as much content as you possibly can out into the world, it'll come back to you tenfold.
It's all about value. There's half of the stuff that these people are putting out there is like stuff that you should probably pay for. They're doing it for free, right?
It's exactly right.
So you can't sit here and I know people, and I know I've seen business owners like that, where it's almost like, well, I'm gonna hold on to this until I can create a product, or until I can create, something for people to spend money on. It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. If you put fresh content out there, you put a lot of value, or you're like, crap, I should pay this guy for what I just learned. Well, guess what? When you put something out there that they should pay for, they'll probably pay you, because they're like, he's insane, or he's so smart. I know that what I'm going to buy right now is probably going to be the best. $137.
That's exactly right.
Make sure it ends with a 7.
Exactly right.
Ends with a 7.
7. Feel 7. Yep, I do it all the time.
Magic number.
That's so funny. I get people saying $300. I'm like, no.
No, $297.
Don't do round numbers. Just do $297. Right? Stay at that 7. It's the psychology of purchasing.
It is.
You know what's so interesting about this dialogue is, it's really not. I think sometimes people feel like, well, okay, so there's all of these things you guys are talking about, There's all these things I could do. I don't even have a website. I don't even, you know what? With the use of social media, with the use of Facebook, I mean, Facebook in general, make that your blog if you don't know how to create a website.
I would be careful with that. Again, you don't own Facebook.
To some extent,
Listen,
right?
Your blog can be a white page.
Yeah, correct.
Like, don't get one of those like domains that are like eva.wordpress.com. Like, if you do want people to take you seriously, let's get real for a moment. If you want people to take you seriously, have a real domain.
Just
it's gonna cost you like $12.
That's right. That's right.
And if you have a really uncommon name, it may cost you 99 cents. Mine was 99 cents.
Well, and mine was like, oh crap, there's so many Ryan Harrises. How in the world am I going to get something I can, so it's work with Ryan Harris. I'm like, oh, okay, that'll work, I guess. But we all know that people don't necessarily pay attention to URLs as much as they used to.
No.
Just get something.
But something. Make sure that it's serious. Don't do .wix.com, .wordpress.com. It has to be.
Yeah, spend a little money. Get yourself a WordPress.org account.
Yeah.
Not a WordPress.com. WordPress.com is free. But
the problem is that a lot of people don't even understand there's a huge difference between .org and .com when it comes to WordPress. And I ran into a lady that had her was it a blog, or it was a blog that she had on .org, and she wanted to start adding all of these features to it. I'm like, you've got to get out of it. You have to move on to .com in order to add all these plugins and all these features, because you can't do it with the other one.
That's right. That's right. I did the same thing. I was blogging for a while on WordPress. Is it order? I can't remember. I think it's WordPress.org is free, right? And, and then it was a process transitioning it over to another server, and I'm like, holy crap!
It is.
I mean, there's another lead magnet you could create, right? The process of going to this. The next lead magnet we could create just from this conversation is, how do I do my first blab?
There you go. That's your call to action for your blog.
Mitch, did you get that? Mitch is my chief operations officer.
Turn mic on.
Turn mic on. Make sure you write that down. Things to do. Bada bing, bada bang. Okay, so always have a call to action, number 5.
Yes.
Blitz for 60 days straight, number 6. Talk to me about number 7.
Let me see. Which one do I want to pick? Because there's so many.
We can keep going. We can keep going.
Okay. I would say cover kind of like hot topics in your niche. So I know that we said be controversial, but also at the same time, if there's something that's trending, you want to cover something that's trending.
Okay.
Even if you want to be controversial about what you're writing, about what's trending.
I was gonna ask you, or be the first to welcome you to Snapchat. About time you joined up.
My daughter's on it. I haven't even requested her yet. I'll probably get a deny. She doesn't even know I'm on it.
You could be a lurker. I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, that'd be kind of creepy mom. # creepy mom.
Hashtag creepy mom.
I already creep on her on Instagram.
Oh, that's great. Oh, welcome to the world of Snapchat. You will have to do a whole nother blab all on Snapchat because I need to talk to somebody who knows what they're doing, because I'm like,
I have no idea what's going on with Snapchat.
I have no clue. I mean, I understand the storyline and I understand the context. I listen to Gary Vee all the time. How he says it's the next platform. But I look at that, I'm like,
when was it yesterday that he put that article out? That I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get Snapchat.
Yeah.
That's another guy I listen to a lot.
Yeah, talk about somebody who provides unbelievable content to the world
value for free.
Well, you know what's crazy about that though is he has the capabilities because of the scalability that he himself is. I think if we all have a digital marketing agency, and that's what, people watch Gary Vaynerchuk all the time. They follow him. They're like, dude, I could do that, or I wish I could do that. And the reality is, like you said, we don't have to be the Gary V's of the world.
No.
As a matter of fact, he says the same.
You never know in a couple of years. You don't know, but he started somewhere.
Yeah, and see the ability that he has is he scaled his business so large, and he has so many people working for him, doing all the rest of the tough things, like writing the blog posts and helping create the content with D-Rock and all those things that he can just say, okay, I'm going to take the next 45 minutes and do an Ask Gary Vee show.
Yes, and those are done. If you haven't seen those, you're missing out a lot. Yeah,
I mean, the rest of us sit back and go, oh boy, well now I have created content. Now I have to go write a blog about it. Now I have to go record it over and throw it up onto a podcast. Now I have to go do this, and this. And I think all too often the beginning content creator, if you will, the beginning entrepreneur, getting in this world of getting out of the 9 to 5 or starting your own business, they're like, how do I keep up with everything?
It's called you don't sleep if you need to.
That's exactly right.
If you want to get out of it. If you don't want to get out of it, then you can go home and watch TV.
It's called the hashtag hustle, right?
Hello. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
And you know what's so interesting is I had a client out of Canada that was asking me about that. She was saying, "Well, I'm in this 9 to 5 group," because I introduced her to the 9 to 5 group where you and I met.
Oh, yes.
Screw
Another one
9 to 5,
mm-hmm.
right? Unbelievable quality in that.
Yes,
And I mean,
yes.
such cool stuff. I'm kind of, it feels like it's losing a little bit of the integrity because getting
I just
so
joined,
big.
so I haven't even seen what it used
It's
to be.
really, really, really good.
They're huge.
But she's like, there's so many people in here that are talking about the 9 to 5 and how they want to get out of the 9 to 5. And I've met a ton of them as blogging events, and they're not successful. I said, the only thing that differentiates the successful person building a business and the non-successful person is consistency.
You have to be consistent, and you have to want it. If you don't want it,
that's right.
I really wish that I would have started my business before I got laid off. But it takes people different triggers to say, shoot, I need to do something. Because, when I got laid off, I maybe had enough money in the bank to cover my bills for the next 30 days. And thankfully, I had friends that had their own business, so I was able to do some freelancing work for them. So I'm sorry, CD Skilo. There's background, I guess, on my end.
There is a little bit, not too bad. She's at a coffee shop, so
yeah. Hopefully, you guys can hear me clearly, though.
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, you just got to do it. You work from 9 to 5. That's 8 hours. You get home and you do another 4 or another 1.
Right.
Just invest an hour a day.
Do something. Do something.
Yeah. I don't care what it is. And starting a blog is a great way. Starting a blog is a fantastic way for you to start transitioning because there's so much you can do on there. You can monetize your blog, and that's a whole other blab topic. How to monetize your blog. But there's that's a great way to get started, and then fire your boss. I'm all for firing your boss.
Okay, you're gonna give us 2 more. We're gonna give people bonus here. We talked about 7. Let's rock it to 9 since we've got about 5 minutes or so.
Let's see.
Let's do this. What's number 8?
Well, we just talked about Gary Vaynerchuk, right? So I always get inspiration from what the gurus are saying. And again, I talk a lot about Ray Higdon as well. And I follow a lot of what he speaks about. And I love Robert Kiyosaki. And I love Gary Vaynerchuk. And there's a lot of folks out there that I listen to closely. I read their books. I'm reading the Ryan Levesque book, the Ask Formula book. So again, who are the top people in either content marketing, social media, network marketing, affiliate marketing, online business, whatever you're doing, find them, follow them, and write about it. Get inspired by what they're doing. Maybe they just released a book. Do a book review. Book reviews are great when it comes to blogs. I don't do them as often as I should because really the minute I read a book, I want to kind of put into play what I just finished learning. I've read I don't know how many business books and not one recreation book at all. But one of the things that I would say is definitely see who the leaders in your industry are and what are they teaching and what are their principles and follow them and write your content around what they're talking about. Awesome. So if Gary just released a video about, let's say, Snapchat, maybe write about that. Mm-hmm. If he's saying get on Snapchat, I got on Snapchat, but maybe I want to write a blog post about how I just got on Snapchat today and I'm clueless, but this is what I've read and this is what I've learned, which is probably something I'll write about. but yeah.
Well, what's interesting about that is you bring up a very good point when it comes to, when we talked first about just getting started, I think there's almost another element of identify the why. Like, why are you getting on Snapchat? Tell people why. Mm-hmm. Answer that question of why did I do this or why did I do that or why did what I read make a difference in my life or because if you're answering that why, there's probably other people out there that are thinking the same thing. Like, oh yeah, well, why did she? I'm thinking, well, why in the world is everybody getting on Snapchat? Yeah. And why are we doing this? That's right. I know, it's crazy. But the reality is that's the question that they're looking for. Yeah. And if you can answer that question why in every blog post or any piece of content you're putting out there, then you're going to probably pique people's interest a little bit more than just telling people what to do. Yeah. Right? Yeah, definitely. Cool. Okay, number 9.
To me, this is a pretty important one. It would be understanding your audience's pain points. So what are they struggling with? And you find a lot of this information, like for example, like the Screw the 9 to 5 group that we're in. If you were to have a blog post about, firing your boss and starting your own business, great content, great focus group in that group alone. Get to know your audience and then write about what they're struggling with. To that same topic, what were your struggles when you were starting out? And write about those struggles, and don't be shy about it. You know, if you could not figure out how to add a freaking picture on WordPress, write a tutorial about it. Who cares if people think that it's like, really, lady, you don't know how to add a picture on WordPress? There's a lot of people out there that know less than you do. So don't assume that everybody that's reading your blog knows more than you. It's a lot of people out there know less. And that's not to insult anyone. It's just to say that what you think people already know, they may not know. So as easy as it sounds, it could be something that a lot of people are struggling with. You know, there's a whole generation of people out there, retirees, for example, that are joining the online market and starting their own online business. And a lot of them, you know, they don't understand all the technologies that are going on. So although you may not be satisfying one age target, you could be satisfying their needs. So don't ever assume anything about your audience. Really get to know your audience and write about what their pain points are. Even ask. Go on Facebook and put ask a question to your audience, or go on a group and take a poll, and then write a topic about it. And so the minute you can, and this goes back to Mitch's question about a headline, the minute you identify a pain point, you know, so I don't know, let's take the easy one, how to add a picture on WordPress, right? On your WordPress blog. And you see there's a need for that. You can write a blog post, how to add a picture on your WordPress blog, or how to add a caption underneath your picture. Super simple stuff. So because you know that a large portion of your audience was struggling with, you know, Snapchat. Like, for example, Michelle Pesco-Solido and Bill Pesco-Solido just did a training on Snapchat, right? Why? Because there was a need for it. Because they saw that there was a need for it. People were using it maybe the wrong way, or they didn't really know how to use it. And remember, content doesn't have to be the written blog. It could be that podcast. It could be the video. It could be even a webinar. And write about their pain points. If you get a lot of questions from your email list, like, you know, if you wrote about a topic and it was maybe too broad, because sometimes you do have to get broad for the sake of the length of the article, and you're seeing that you're getting a lot of this one specific question, then write a blog post about that. Kind of like breaking down what the questions were within that post as a follow-up. And a really cool thing to do on your blog, and I haven't done it in a while, is do like a series. You know, so do like a 4-part series where you're going to talk about, I don't know, Snapchat. So now we're gonna have 4 blog post about Snapchat. So how to create a Snapchat, how to engage your audience on Snapchat, how to generate leads on Snapchat, and how to do whatever the heck it is that you do on Snapchat, right? So do a series about it, and people already know to expect something else. They'll come back to your blog to see what day 2's post is about. Yeah. And then what you do is the last one, you recap all of them, because and SEO is another topic for another blab. But one of the things I learned from Ray is, one of the things that Ray said is, for SEO is, if you have people circulating your blog, they don't just hit your page. If they actually go back home and maybe play around with a couple of the links, that's good for your SEO. So what he does a lot is, if you see his blog, he actually links back to other pages in his blog, so that you can be like, oh, okay, cool, this relates to what I just read. Let me click here, and it takes you to another page. And I see that CD is asking a question, what we should never do as an active blogger. Oh God, I don't think there's anything you should never do as an active blogger, to be honest with you, other than like cuss and get ignorant. I think, or stop blogging in general, right? No, he's saying active, so that tells me that if you're constantly writing, I don't think there's anything not to do. It depends on whether you're shy or not. If you don't want people to think you're an extremist in a certain topic, then maybe don't talk about that topic. If you don't want to get political on a post because it's going to turn off some of your followers, and don't get political. If you don't want to take a stand, then don't take a stand. It just depends who your audience is, to be honest with you. I don't immediately can think of anything that you shouldn't do. Yeah. No, listen, this was killer content. 48 minutes of I'm glad. Value. Love it. I hope everybody likes it. Matthew. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this thing, and I'll send you the recording. Okay, that'd be cool. If you want to repurpose content as well, and just throw it into a blog or a blab or whatever. But listen, for those of you that have joined us, make sure you follow the lady. Am I pointing the right way? I guess you go the other way. Oh, I got to go this way. And I got to go that way.
whatever way it is. But one of the best things you can possibly do, like Eva said earlier, is just
start.
Do something.
Please.
It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do something. Pull up your Facebook. Listen, I was talking to a group of people at a grassroots movement this last weekend, and I said, just do something. And so I've had 3 or 4 people that have tagged me in their post, and they did a Facebook Live, and I'm like, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Well,
I know, Linda, getting started is the hard part, but
just do something.
Yeah.
Put something out there. It doesn't have to be like you're saying earlier, it doesn't have to be perfect content right away.
Yeah.
Just get started, because you might it'll get better as it goes.
Yeah, and like Mitch says, it can be scary, but what do you have to lose though? You have more to gain than to lose. You literally have more to gain than to lose. Like if somebody says, "Oh, Eva's blog sucks," boo, like who cares? Like haters are gonna hate. Don't worry about what they're gonna say about your blog. It is scary, but anything that's putting you in, whenever you take a risk or whenever you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to gain some attention, nobody wants to have I hate having the spotlight on me at any moment, but you know what? You just got to do it, because then you'll never do it. And you'll be a year from now saying, shoot, I wish I would have started my blog, Yeah.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. And I've done that so many times.
Oh my gosh. You know how many times I did it before I started, and I said, F it, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. And what's so cool about it is what I've learned about this digital marketing space is once you get your foot in the water, it's like it opens up to so many cool things.
It does. And really, you have to enjoy it. Like, don't do Facebook Live if you hate it. Don't do podcasts if you can't stand it. It has to be something enjoyable. Listen, if it's not enjoyable and it becomes a chore, then don't do it at all.
That's right.
Don't do it at all. Find a channel that's, if you want to just stand in front of a YouTube, if you want to put a camera in front of you and just broadcast, like YouTube, you can do, I don't even know. I'm still like clueless about a lot of things. You can live stream on YouTube. And you have nothing to talk about, just get on YouTube and just start talking about, this lady on Facebook was like streaming live for like an hour. I'm like, okay, well, that's brave about nothing in specific, but she did it. She got a bunch of followers, a bunch of views, a bunch of comments. Just do it.
Awesome. Okay, listen, unbelievable content. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you got to get running here in about 45 minutes to another, I'm sure, big-time client. You're going to go knock it out of the park. But you know what? So, the best thing I love about internet, I love about being online is the fact that we can connect with anybody. I mean, we've known each other, for about 2 weeks now?
Yeah, and you're like somewhere else. I love it. I think it's awesome. It's the best thing ever invented.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's so cool. Thank you, Linda.
Get out on camera. You deserve to be out there. So, listen, thanks, guys, for being on our Blab content. I'm going to stop the recording there. I'm going to just jump in, chat with my live audience here for a quick minute. Thank you so much for your time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I mean, it's been unbelievable. And for those of you that had the chance to be with us, you're lucky. Absolutely lucky.
Well, I'm hoping that you guys got some value from it. So
recap 9 things. Get started to do something. Number 2, get controversial. A little edgy, right? Do your research, though, to make sure you can back it up. Number 3, create a great title. Whether it's your email, whether it's your blog post, whether it's your Facebook post, whether it's your event, whatever it is. Number 4, teach what you have learned. ILT, the old Ray Higdon way. Invest, learn, and teach. Number 5, always have a call to action in everything that you do. Number 6, blitz for 60 days. Yeah. I'm throwing a challenge out there for you. Those of you that are listening in or watch this Facebook Live event at some point, I challenge you 60 days in a row. And you can tag myself.
If you do it, your blogging game will be completely elevated.
It's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, guarantee.
Number 7, cover hot topics in your niche. Find out what your niche is. Establish that as you start. Number 8, get inspiration from the gurus. Success leaves clues. Hello, right? And then number 9, understand the pain points of your audience. And you won't be able to understand the pain points of your audience until you have an audience. Exactly. So you got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
Build your list, get out there, rock and roll. And we'd love to hear some feedback. So if you want to here on Facebook Live, drop us some love.
Some of this stuff. Give us some hands.
Hashtag YOLO, right? You live it once. Give us some hands here on Blab. Gotta love it. And make sure you connect with Eva as well on Facebook.
Yeah, find me out there.
Find her.
Eva, guess, right?
What's your
website?
How
do I do this?
What's your website?
Do I
just type it in the message.
I don't even. Again, this is my first time on here. that's my domain, and that's also you can find me on Facebook. That's my
Facebook.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce? Is it Blandino?
Blandino. Yep.
Okay, so evablandino.com. Hook it up. Go follow her on Facebook. She obviously knows what she's talking about, guys. She's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. Love it, love it, love it. And we'll check in next time.
We're going to do it again soon. We'll figure out what we want to talk about next.
Sounds like